So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is one of our very fun events that have so many poets involved, which is amazing. We get to feature many contemporary poets' voices. We also have live music, which is incredible. And we're so excited. This is our third poetry open mic. And we're just so happy that you could join us tonight. I'm just gonna come back for a moment. There we go. And all right. So I also always want to start every program by saying thank you so much to everyone who donates. It makes this kind of programming possible for us. We've had at least one event every single week since the quarantine began in March. And we've met so many interesting people. A lot of the poets that are performing tonight, we maybe didn't know before all this, but they have found us one way or another through the internet. It's really a beautiful, amazing thing. So thank you so much for your donations. Even something small like $5 that you might spend on Starbucks coffee for us means so much, especially when you multiply it by all the people that attend our events. So again, so meaningful for us. And I'm going to be posting all the links for donations, but also our Facebook, all different ways that you can stay connected with us. We sort of have this Whitman family that's growing. That's how it feels for us on our end. So we really appreciate just having you in contact with us. You can always email me with any questions, comments, ideas. We really appreciate it. So thank you for that. And before we get started, I also want to mention we do have an upcoming event that is going to be starting this Sunday. I'll post some information about that. You can email me about it. But what it is Christina M. Rao, who is our Long Island Poet of the Year, will be having a series. So every Sunday at 6:30 p.m., it's a self-care series featuring meditation and yoga. And it's light yoga. It's nothing overwhelming or intimidating. It's chair yoga, essentially. And it's just a way to sort of move, have some meditative thoughts, really, be introspective and take care of yourself. On Sundays, we decided, because that's a great way to start your week. So if you'd like to join us for that, it's $30 for 4 sessions, and we'd love to have you join us for that as well. And again, all of this will be in the chat. I'm going to email you with more information, so just you can stay in touch with us throughout all the programming that we have. All right, and so without further ado, I would like to introduce Josie Bello, who is our featured musician tonight. I'm going to switch screens 1 second. All right. Josie Bello is a singer-songwriter from Huntington. Her songs tell stories that are relatable and explore issues that are both timely and timeless. Her newest release, Having Purpose, Live Long, 2020, and her debut album, Can't Go Home, 2018, have both had extensive US and international radio play, with the albums and individual tracks appearing on an impressive number of radio charts. Josie performs solo and with her band, the Kit House Band. Her music is available everywhere, including Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes, and Amazon. For more information about Josie, you can visit her website. I'm going to post all that in the chat right now, so you can stay up to date with it. And Josie, we're so happy to have you with us. You are a local musician, so local to Huntington, where we are, a museum. And I'm going to give you the spotlight right now. Oh, I'm going to unmute you too, Josie. I think I muted you, which is not helpful. Oh, wait, did I undo it? 1 second. Just try it again, Josie, just see if it. Yeah, it's still muted. 1 sec. Okay, that worked. Thank you. Okay, there we go.
They think it's okay if they believe what they say. They walk around righteous every day. If it's a lie and you believe it, does it matter to you that it's a lie? Fiction hangs in the air, a prediction of what will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Does it matter to you that it's a lie? It's a thin white line running down the street where the truth and the lies always meet. And the asphalt cracks in the heat of the day while the leader and his minions walk all over it and say, manipulate the street, it'll go our way. Deception works when perception rules, and then it becomes the truth. How does it feel to be played for a fool? Does it matter to you that he lies? The end justifies the means when it's all about the money, the power and the greed. Get the bear to behave and the day is saved. Does it matter to you that it's built on lies? It's a thin white line running down the street where the truth and the lies always meet. And the asphalt cracks in the heat of the day while the leader and his minions walk all over it and say, manipulate the street, it'll go our way. If he believes there's a judgment day, then he believes he'll take a lawyer to the grave to outsmart the devil and never have to pay. That's why it don't matter to him that he lies. It don't matter to him that he lies. Does it matter to you that he lies? The ravels are unraveling, life's become undone. The horse has left the barn, and he's laughing at everyone. What has become of normalcy and calm? The new of this reality is causing deep alarm. No longer can I tell darkness from light. Every day is longer now and blends into night. Don't ask why. They'll say it's always been that way. Mankind suffers through every transformative change. Don't ask how. You won't like what they have to say. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. The ravels are unraveling. Life's become unkind. The tide has turned against us, and I'm losing my mind. Nesting and making do while sheltering in place. My thoughts are racing through time and through space. Don't ask why. They'll say it's always been this way. Mankind suffers through every transformative change. Don't ask how. You won't like what they have to say. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. Quiet in my chair, I contemplate how this began. Madness everywhere, I hope God has a plan. Don't ask why. They'll say it's always been this way. Mankind suffers through every transformative change. Don't ask how. You won't like what they have to say. Don't ask why. Don't ask why. The rebels are unraveling. Life's become undone. The horse has left the barn, and he's laughing at everyone. Thank you.
So beautiful, Josie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we're going to hear more from Josie later on in the program. So we're integrating it with our poetry tonight. And I also want to remind everyone, even though we have to stay muted, you can always write in the chat, and then our poets and Josie can see your wonderful comments in there. So don't forget to do that. We're not going to do applause just for time's sake in between each poet, but we will do a big round afterwards. But if you clap on your camera, the poets will be able to see you. So we'll definitely, remember to do that as we go. All right. And there's something else I was going to, the other thing I wanted to say is I want to remind everyone that we are open. Our museum is open. So if you are nearby, we would love to have you come for a visit. We've been open since August, so that would be wonderful if you want to plan your trip. We're right across the street from Walt Whitman Mall on Old Walt Whitman Road, so that's pretty easy to remember. And of course, we'd love to have you come join us for a tour in the house that Walt Whitman was born in 201 years ago. So think about that. We will have a virtual tour, absolutely, but we want it to be really good. So we've been planning it, but we will have that. So, if you start following us on Facebook, I'm sure you'll see notifications for that. Okay, so I want to get started with our featured poets. We're very excited to have with us today. And you'll recognize a lot of poets if you were with us for the other previous open mics. Some of them read during the open reading, and we were able to welcome them back. It's just been a long time since we did that, but you'll see a lot of familiar faces. We're so excited to have them tonight as well. All right. So first off, we're going to have Scudder Parker. And Scudder Parker grew up on a family farm in North Danville, Vermont. He's been a Protestant minister, state senator, utility regulator, candidate for governor, consultant on energy efficiency and renewable energy, and is settling into his ongoing work as a poet and essay writer. He's a passionate gardener and proud grandfather of 4. He and his wife Susan live in Middlesex, Vermont. Scudder has published in Sun Magazine, Vermont Life, Northern Woodlands, Word Runner, Passenger, Eclectica, Twickenham Notes, Crosswinds, Ponder Review, La Pressa, Aquifer, and Sky Island Journal. His first volume of poetry, Safe as Lightning, was released in June 2020 by Rootstock Publications. And we'll have his website there as well. And I happen to know that Scudder has a copy of his book that he can show us. So I'm so happy to welcome you, Scudder. And we did hear from you last time. So now you're one of our featured poets. All right, and just remember to unmute and give you the spotlight.
Okay. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for hosting this and doing such a good job of pulling everybody together from all across the country. I do have a book of poetry which came out in June, right at the very best time to issue a new publication, as anyone who has done it during this time knows is not the truth. But it's been fun to do some things online, and thank you for giving me the chance to do this as part of the Walt Whitman birthplace. It's a gift to be here. I'm going to start and just read pretty much right through, but if ever you have had somebody visit you at your house who came not to visit you, but because they grew up in that house or lived on that land, that's what this poem is about. It's called Davy Road. A man in clothes the shape of sleep pushes his battered bicycle, wire baskets front and back, halfway up the drive and stops. He watches me raking gravel. You live here now? I pause, lean on my rake. I'm trying. We gossip like old neighbors. His family logged pine and maple, a few cows and chickens. Some summers a bear got all the corn. I tell him a bear got ours last summer. The house and barn were down there where you have your wood pile now. The house was small and cold as hell. The barn was built better. We go down, explore lilac, sprawling roses, honeysuckle, clumps of double daffodils, stacked granite slabs that held the barn. No sign of the house foundation. 5 generations in this place, and I 3 years. Twice since then I've seen him, picking up empties. Once just his bike leaning against a tree. And this is actually when we flew down to Sanibel to spend time with Linda Sussman, my sister-in-law, and her wife, Emmy Sue Sloane, both of whom have been on this program before, Susan as a musician and Emmy Sue as a poet. It's called In the Air to Sanibel. The plane is full. Again, we've let them pack our restless bodies in a sleek silver cigar, a brief anonymous intimacy we exchange for quick and far. Every seat holds purposes and hopes, perhaps regret, like any walk down any street. But we are close as frogs' eggs, breathing each other's air, treading each other's feet. Without a word, of course, there are brief reminders of the peril we share, turbulence, image of a lost wing, shock at the delicate trick that holds us in the air. Behind us, a couple with their daughter screaming as we ascend. The mother soothes calmly, singing Itsy Bitsy Spider and the wheels on the bus. The father, silent at the beginning, joins in. Their kindness gathers allies. Her voice is sweet. The easy impulse to annoyance seems absurd. The child quiets. The song continues, most of us whispering the words. And I know we talked among the poets, and I know one of the poets reading is doing not an anthology, I think a chapbook about cats, but here's my cat poem. Feed the cats. Upon my waking, the cat's first and urgent task is to remind me, before bathroom, before toothbrush, that nothing is more important than feeding them. Some peoples believe their supplication drags the laggard sun up the morning sky. Never would it rise, or the can be opened, but for them. The sun has its practiced way of coping. I am inclined to groggy banter, which is stolidly ignored. Pat, pat down the stairs, my only choice to follow. And when I am home all day, the cats are at my feet, insisting on the evening feeding at 1 o'clock. It rouses them from the daily round of dedicated relaxation. I wonder, when I give up and feed them at 3, whether there's a sense of triumph. I've seen nothing that could be considered excessive celebration. And then this is a kind of different take on all the strenuous love songs, mostly from men, called I Love It When You Love Me Like That. Like scolding when I haul in heavy firewood after surgery, clucking at my manly foolishness, or when the danger of a virus to your sister turns you silent, grief rising cell to cell until you fill like a spring maple. Or when we realize within 5 minutes of each other, it's time to call my slowing aunt and uncle, and I know it's your attention that has made it so. It's not a thing you think to give me, not anything I'd know to ask from you. It's just you, noticing and loving as you do, tender to the world, wounded, rightly, easily, sharing your view. And do I have time for one more short one? This is called Today. This morning, a ladybug appears from nowhere. It circumnavigates my breakfast plate. The cat eyes finches through the glass, who arrived to feed on black oil sunflower seed from Kansas. I used to understand so many things. Now everything surprises me. Anger shows up on my doorstep like an orphan. Sadness is a thread of light I try to pick off the carpet. There is nothing I am qualified to rescue. I am learning to be patient. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scudder. Amazing. And it's so great to have you back with us. All right, so we're going to go to our next featured poet, Jennifer Wen. Jennifer Wen is a trans-identified writer and speaker from London, Ontario. Her first poetry chapbook, A Song of Milestones, has been published by Harmonia Press, an imprint of Bellevue Books. She has also written From Adversity to Accomplishment, A Family and Social History, and published poetry in Bellevue Review, the Ekphrastic Review, Open Minds Quarterly, Tuck Magazine, Scenarius, Big Pond Rumors, the League of Canadian Poets, Fresh Voices, Words Fest Zine, and the anthology Things That Matter. She is also the proud parent of 2 adult children with a day job as a systems analyst. And I have Jennifer's website here. I'm going to post that all in the chat right now. And Jennifer, you were with us last time too. It's great to welcome you back. And I hope I didn't butcher those words too much, those publications.
Not too bad. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thanks for being out there, and thanks to the WWBA for putting on this event and inviting me to participate. I have 3 poems tonight. Walt Whitman and Claude Monet are 2 of my most significant inspirations, and so I figured I had to start with this piece entitled Whitman Monet. May I call you Walt and Claude? That's very familiar, I realize, but I feel I know you intimately after a fashion. The poet, with your vocabulary, your lists, exalting the everyday, but seeing much more through and beyond, joyfully singing the body electric, claiming all humankind as brothers and sisters, dancing through time, immersing in your leaves becomes wonderful meditation. The painter, playing with light, subjects as deceptively simple as a wheat stack or as vaulting as a cathedral, shades of meaning within the changing sun and fog, finding magic and insight in water lilies, claiming everything around you as worthy of adoration, falling into your impressions, a mystical experience. One, a painter with language, the other, a poet with brush and canvas, 2 great spirits entwined by profound vision and seductive simplicity. I claim you as muses, as ideals, not to be achieved, but perhaps approached in my own way. As mentioned, I am a transgender woman, and that identity is, of course, central to who I am and infuses a decent amount of the poetry I write, notably, as mentioned, that extended work, A Song of Milestones. There it is, available through me or through the website. And as mentioned, it was published by Harmonia Press, and I have been honored to present it in its entirety several times. The title and overall structure were inspired by Whitman's glorious Song of Myself. My piece, that chapbook, is an emotional and spiritual tour of my gender journey and is split into a prelude and 10 further sections. Each of the 11 parts has at least one major literary touchstone as a foundational referent. And I will do a short section called Undisguised, whose support is Walt himself and portrays the first time I presented female in public. Tepid at first, then building, the fever rising higher and higher, perfervid spirit burning to be released, to follow Whitman and cast off disguise. Spurred on by his cry that I am not guilty or stale or discarded, likewise mad for the world to encompass me, the me so long interred, in full feminine regalia, panic, barely held at bay by night's feeble veil, down to the bank machine I go, a simple, quick transaction, but oh, the relief, the joy, an eternity of quarantine wondrously ended, coupled to a dawning awareness of an unimagined, unimaginable road awaiting. And finally, I'm going to do a selection from my newest project currently being written. It is a cycle called Auschwitz Threnody and is a belated response to experiencing that unforgettable place some years ago. This section is subtitled Arbeit macht frei and is a meditation on the infamous sign over an entrance gate that bears that slogan. Ahead, just past a gate, former Polish army barracks, subverted to a darker purpose, deadly prison and headquarters, now a haunted museum. And above us, prisoner slave Jan Livac's dictated artifact still leers down the infamous Nazi greeting in low carbon rimmed steel, painted death black, twisted into a gentle lettered arch, an old phrase maladapted. Arbeit macht frei, work makes you free, or perhaps work sets you free. In this place, free from what? Free from life, happiness, not free from fear, certainly free from sincerity, except genuine hatred and suffering. Work makes you free, empty of truth, but oozing the dark energy of a hideous joke. Arbeit macht frei, horror or humor, the beholder shapes the impact. The words of the prisoner slaves and the legions of the doomed were devoid of impact on the murderers and torturers, but not on history or spirit. Change context, change listener, and pivot to eloquent and moving and heartbreaking and potent. Words can indeed have immense power, power beyond imagining, power of life and death, power of finality, of miscreation. Words spawned this, words suckled it, words of barbaric exclusion, words of loathing, words of evil, ancient hatred, bloated, metastasized, modernized, a black hole devouring anyone deemed different, rallying cry for the bigoted, ignorant, racist, sadistic, cowardly, desperate, apathetic, blind, a lever to tyranny, simple syllables scuttling across the page, cavorting in front of Klieg lights, swaggering off on the fiery breeze, goose-stepping forth, unbound, mutated, inbreeding, birthing demonic contention, contorted to action, simple at first, change some laws, break some windows, step by step, round them up, shoot them down, or pen them in, one camp, then more, step by step, until human and cultural enslavement and extermination are bandied about over stolen cognac, Wannsey's ghastly inevitability, a final solution to the chain of satanic reasoning, all whelped from words infused with the spirit of Arbeit macht frei. But look again, look closer at Arbeit. Here, the B is upside down, larger bulge precariously balanced on top in protest, yawns freshet of truth in a vast swamp of lies hiding in plain sight, a seed of defiance hopefully sprouting in the sprawling jungle of mockery and brutality and death. Thank you.
Very powerful. Thank you, Jennifer, for being with us. All right. And again, you can always comment in the chat. Just want to make sure everyone notices. I see there's some already. I'm just reminding everyone as we go. All right. So next up, we have Nina Lewis, who's been joining us from the UK for a long time now. So great to have you in this capacity with us, Nina. Nina Lewis is a poet from Worcester, UK. Her poetry is published in a wide range of anthologies and magazines. Her chapbooks, Fragile Houses 2016 and Patience 2019, were published by V Press. She was Worcester Poet Laureate 2017 to 2018, a reader in residence for West Midlands Readers Network, and an international guest poet at the Perth Poetry Festival in 2018. She's produced 2 poetry shows, 30, 40, 60, devised in collaboration, and A Tale of Two Cities, her transatlantic poetry project involving poets in Worcester, UK and Worcester, Massachusetts, USA, created in 2018. In 2019, Nina was commissioned by Elephant's Footprint to produce 10 animated poetry films for their Poetry Renewed project. This year, she is poet in residence at Cheltenham Poetry Festival. All right, Nina, I'm going to give you the spotlight. Great to have you.
Thank you. Turn my volume up. Just want to say how lovely it is to be part of this. The Walt Whitman birthplace has just enlightened my lockdown in pure moments of joy. I think it's already been said, it's a gift. It's a gift to us. So I'm going to read a couple from the new book, Patience. I say new, it came out about a year ago, but it's obviously been in a box since March. This one's called Signs. It never begins in darkness, even with your eyes closed, sheets of orange glow. When I first saw him, hope paced in the shadows softly. Our first words displayed in paint strip themes the fascinations we shared. Conversation tumbled until we spoke without voices, felt the electrical surge of the universe. Inside, our arteries turned into vacuum tubes, soared with blaze. We became neon. In the middle of this book, there's a short sequence of poems which deal with dementia and hospitalization for a variety of reasons. And this one is an ekphrastic poem. I did some work with the George Marshall Medical Museum. They're attached to a local city hospital. And it's an archive photo from some time ago. It's called The World at the End of the Bed. Whenever they move his body, his mind settles to balance like a blister in a spirit level. His is always slanted, downhill from here. He rests his forehead against a shielded hand, hopes for equilibrium. It has been a long time since the world made any sense. His family know this is the best place for him. They visit daily, trust the hands he's in. The man falls through the skies between his bed and the chair at the end of it. He is not alone on this ward. Shakespeare is recited regularly to a director who drifts in and out of trapped sleep. And this is one that I think I may have even performed it at the birthplace before. So here it is again, if I have. And I think in lockdown particularly, this became quite a just something that we all did, that we all needed to get back to. It's called Dear Sky. Dear Sky, I have always looked up to you, admired your vastness, your keen eye for pattern, the continuous wardrobe changes. I think most people take you for granted, ignore you until you wear a grey suit, then they heckle for blue. I like your charcoal smudge accessories. Thank you for being my constant, for reaching friends I can't, for letting me stare at you without thinking I'm weird, for not giving up on us, caving in. I was old before I realised you come all the way down. You meet the ground. I walk in you, not under you, a skywalk every day. And I'm going to do one from the first chapbook, which there were, I think there are still copies in existence. Anyway, it's called Fragile Houses. And this poem's called Your Gift. You play the saxophone as if you were born with a reed in your mouth. Even at your mother's funeral, you play without a note misplaced. You play a song she used to listen to on the radio, a song that as a boy you believed belonged to her. I watch your eyes as you play, closed, breathing in the silver sax like an iron lung, it gives you breath. The father inside that musician is the one I dreamt of having. Getting to know you off stave, a more complicated notation. You were born to music. I realise that now. A parentless man destined to spend his final breath with a woodwind instrument. That same mouth rarely tells me of love, but I let you carry me with melody alone. And I'm going to finish on a spooky one because Caitlin said we could, but I might be the only poet offering a Halloween poem. So this is my Halloween poem with a slight experimental middle bit, which may or may not work, but the poem works. So it's quite an old one now. It's called The Stanley Hotel. Obviously, Estes Park, Colorado. You all might know it a bit better than I actually do. The Stanley Hotel. 6 American flags whip against the red roof, high above attic windows. Towers and balconies are surrounded by trees. A large circular palisade leads up to hotel steps. A grand entrance disguises the paranormal. On the 4th floor, the sound of children laughing can be heard in the small hours, up way past their bedtime. They come and play in the never-ending corridors. Hundreds of spirits stay here for free. If you follow the labyrinth of hallways to the landing at the top of the spiral staircase, you will find a young girl who wears a long white nightgown. She holds her doll by its hair, lets it hang by her side, stands dead still. Lifeless curls rest on her shoulders. Mr. Stanley meets guests in the billiard room, a regal venue, a fairy tale setting with high arched windows and panoramic views, the gleaming wooden floor ready for dancing feet. His wife, Flora, entertains guests at the piano in the lobby. The owners from 1909 still proud of their neo-Georgian hotel isolated amongst the Rocky Mountain range, full of life and not life, past life, sharing the same space, exactly the same space. Thank you.
Amazing, Nina. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That's beautiful. And then the one at the end is amazing. I love that the Halloween inspiration, you were able to contribute to that. Amazing. And it did work, just so you know. We did hear the recorder. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So next up we have, oops, give me 1 second. Computer's a little slow. Okay, there we go. Next up we have Valerie Griggs. Born in Brooklyn, New York, Valerie Griggs earned an MFA in creative writing at Brooklyn College, 1985, studying with John Ashbery and William Matthews. She enjoys being part of the vibrant community of poets in Long Island, New York. Since 2003, she has pursued songwriting and has recorded 3 original music CDs. Currently, Ms. Griggs works as a full-time writing consultant and adjunct English instructor at Malloy College. She's been published in various journals, including Typishly, Avatar Review, and California Quarterly. She won first place in the 2019 Performing Poets Association Poetry Contest and publication in volume 23 of the PPA Literary Journal and was published as a second place winner in the 2019 Nassau County Poet Laureate Society Anthology. All right. Thank you for being with us, Valerie. We're a new addition to our open mic. Just 1 second, I need to find you. There you are. Okay, I see your screen. Perfect.
Thank you, Caitlin, and the Walt Whitman Birthplace Museum.
Oh, you know what, Valerie, you're a little quiet now. You weren't before. I don't know if anything shifted anywhere.
Okay, how's that, Caitlin?
It's still a little quiet. Is anything over your microphone or anything?
How's that?
Still pretty low, yeah.
Okay. And how is that?
The same, still too low. I don't know. It was working well for us.
I know. I'll do my best.
Okay, when you get close like that, I know it's annoying, but it does help.
No problem.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here and wonderful poetry. First poem is called Washing the Dishes. Soap bubbles brushed with rainbows, puff in the cups, then slide over the worn pattern of faded lilacs, pale bluebirds, and pitted gold trim of my grandmother's china. My thoughts slip into her tenement, fire escape and clotheslines outside the window, ironing board in the wall, high ceilings, glass doorknobs. My grandfather doing knee bends in his long johns. Sunday morning soft-boiled eggs, crumb cake, steam heat melting our Easter outfits. The faucet spits, glasses clink, and their voices, loud, lively, echo clearly, as if I've climbed up to the 3rd floor, into the railroad apartment where my mother grew up, and everyone is talking around the kitchen table. Plates and saucers with chips and notches, delicate motifs of my life, looking a little worse for wear under the steady stream of time. I'm surprised how often and easily my middle-aged mind fills my childhood body. How this body fills with scents, accents, seasons, decades gone. but still living somewhere, waiting for me to walk in, sit down, stacking the dishes in the china closet. I wonder at the richness of my inheritance. Did they know they'd leave these residues and traces? Has it taken me this long to cherish them? What stops us all from passing as gossamer-legged insects over a pond? What glaze fixes us, helps us stubbornly remain despite the speed of our carelessness, and brushing off anything lacking usefulness? I dim the kitchen lights, continuity glowing behind my eyes. Aberdeen. When gloaming falls on the granite townhouses of Aberdeen, the grays glow with a golden sheen of wisdom and no nonsense. The mountains, though far, stand firm around the harbor.
Oh, Valerie, I don't know why, but something made it totally cut out the audio. Yeah, it just cut out completely now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is it all right if I just start at the beginning of Aberdeen?
Perfect. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. When gloaming falls on the granite townhouses of Aberdeen, the grays glow with a golden sheen of wisdom and no nonsense. The mountains, though far, stand firm around the harbor, keeping safe the city, steadfast as a brother. Gull cries rise with the moon, and the evening rouses curiosity. Where does it come from, this solid, contented peace? Maybe from the gas lamps, or the barley soup, or the weathered faith, or handcrafted history. More likely, though, it rides in on the salt air that blows between the steady homes, through the black gates glistening, over the garden tide of roses, carrying the green song of sea and valley. Keeping up appearances. On our bones, we painted strawberries to hide cracks made by life in the desert. Hidden cracks live in our bones. The painted life of the desert hides what we have lost. Our weak love, colder than desert night, cuts a fault line through our lives, makes us hide our painted bones. Everything a season. Light falls the way it does in fall from the celestial crisscrossings to my hands onto golden leaves, leaving pieces of time to warm in the stained glass shadows drawn by daylight. The pieces hum absent-mindedly as we go about our business, and after a while, we feel ready enough to pick up the pieces of love and life and take another turn on the dance floor. And one more poem. We were talking before about the relationship between poetry and music, poetry and painting. And I have a poem published in this Apricity Journal where they connect poetry and artwork submitted kind of randomly. And this is a poem about a painting that doesn't exist. So that was my take on. Composition. Next to the clown with a cello sits a poet with a drink. The poet pores over accounts of the persecuted, looking for metaphors. The clown keeps time out loud, scattering dates and data over the poet's shoulder. The poet sips the ice cubes clink, and a rosin cloud puffs, and the poet drops her pen. In a graceful sweep, the dancer scoops up the pen. The dancer returns it with a twirl, curtsies, then goes pas de basque to the bar. The poet taps the glass with her pen. The clown taps the table with his bow. The dancer taps her toes. The missing tap a code. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Valerie. Wonderful. Wonderful. Amazing. And yeah, we were talking about ekphrastic poetry, which is exactly what that is. Poetry about visual art, even if it's not literally about the visual, like you were saying. All right. So next up, we have Linda Trott Dickman, and she's been a friend to the Birthplace, and she has been working at the Birthplace for many years. So we love having her here in this capacity as well. Linda Trott Dickman has been writing poetry since her first sleepaway camp experiences when she was 10 years old. She is a recently retired school librarian. Linda is the author of Robes, The Art of Being Covered, The Air That I Breathe, and Road Trip. Linda's poetry has been published online and in several anthologies. She's the former Bards Laureate 2017 through 2019 for the Bards Initiative and has served on its board. She's the current coordinator of poetry for the Northport Arts Coalition in Northport, New York. Linda has been teaching poetry to children for over 35 years and has co-led a poetry workshop for adults at Samantha's Little Bit O' Heaven Coffee House in East Northport, New York. Wonderful. All right, I'm looking for you, Linda. Just give me 1 second.
I'm far to the left.
Say it again.
Or maybe I'm at an extreme end on my screen. I don't know where I am on yours.
I know, that's funny. There you are. Okay, good. I'm giving you the spotlight, and of course, so wonderful to have you with us, Linda. There we go.
Thank you so much. I tried to come up with something that was uplifting, a little bit of light, and also in keeping with the season. So the first poem I'm going to read is called Moonflower, Morning Glory, and I'm dedicating it to my husband. Moonflower, morning glory, for my glorious moonflower. You bring me the color of midnight. Me bring you the color of high noon. We similarly seated. Me diminutive opening to the sun. You magnificent opening to the moon. Each of us closing as the other is opening, both trumping a glorious melody, tendrils interlocking, joining our songs in an anthem of praise, spreading the light wherever we're planted. So grateful to be flourishing with you. Oh, my husband's up here with me. Okay, so this one is called Caught. And I wrote it during a very similar weather period when I was convalescing from surgery, called Caught. The three joined hands and flew apace, hovering o'er the blooms, lightly, gently, firmly, blowing fragrance round the room. The baskets, such variety, near perfect hiding spots for three mischievous fairies, trying not to get caught. Okay, so that one's a short one. And then this one's called The House of Fairy. Just before the dawning, upon my window pane, came ice and hail, all freezing wet, and then it turned to rain. Fairy folk, caught by surprise amidst spring's waking labors, sought escape through crannies in windows and oak floors. Wings and clothing drenching wet, they crawled to glowing hearth and took the garments one by one and set them out apart. Leaves of oak and maple, rhododendron too, woven stalks of iris, their wee vests and shoes. Looking all around the place, flower baskets they did spy, the vases and arrangements put a sparkle in their eyes. They set about to pruning as fairies often do, gathering their findings until the work was through. Oh, and then the fashion show, from petals and worn blooms, paraded then in pure delight, smiles adorned the room. Eucalyptus collars, tete-a-tete for skirts, rose petals to top it off, fine dancing o'er the dirt. In potted plants and baskets across the strong oak floor, revived, redressed, new task to plan, the fairies out once more. My Halloween poem falls in the middle this time. This is for one of our neighbors. It's called Mr. Halloween. Of all the stops for trick or treat that we have ever seen, the one that we still talk about is Mr. Halloween's. Greeted by the missus, aglow in eerie light, he then advanced as if entranced out into the night. Appearance oh so scary, yet countenance serene. We tentatively ventured forth toward Mr. Halloween. To the door he slowly moved, cloaked as he did lean. Upon a cane ornately carved, oh, Mr. Halloween. As we offered him our sacks, his face transformed became. With comments of, ah, very good, he greeted each the same. His face was rough and goblin-like, voice gruff but full of care. E'en though we weren't so sure, we moved upon the stair. His wife, a witch of beauty, lit up as she observed each childish face as they moved close, rallying their nerve. The love they shared betwixt them shone so clearly through, 'twas magnified as they did gaze upon us, just we two. We really knew they loved us. Instead of knowing fear, we decided we'd go back, maybe twice next year. Okay, same couple, same couple, different night. This is called Fairy Hollow Moon, and it's with a line from Van Morrison for Paul and Eddie. Somehow, the moon always played a factor. The wind chimes set the tone, a zephyr, the rhythm. There was never a question about time. Starbuck affirmed, crooning the anthem, moonlight did feel right. There were other hints, playful references to dancing 'neath the cover of October's skies, smells of pumpkin, sights of jack-o'-lanterns, wood fire, your stage a stand of pine trees, fairy circle center. A madman and his lady coaxed from the shadows for just one more moon dance. We two could never figure out how you managed to frolic undetected in the light of the moon, of the Halloween moon, shedding leather and lace, content to be clothed in each other alone. And my very last poem is called Moon Dance, and I will call attention to my necklace. I don't know if you can see it, but it's moonstones. It was covered in fake, covering, and I broke it out. It's called Moon Dance, and this is also dedicated to my husband. It was the pearls that shone brightest, each strand varying in wear, size, color, knotted with great care. The tooth test worked on some, the sure weight of the genuine betraying the others. Peeling some revealed plastic, unusual glass, mother of pearl beads sheathed in husks of mollusk. Still others had a taint of fish scale. Globes that held the luster of the rising, a glint of midsummer's night magic, an entire string of moonlight on slender silk strands, trailing off like a formation of fireflies, this hidden treasure right in front of my eyes, just like you. Thank you.
Wonderful, Linda. Wonderful. So great. And I love, yes, the Halloween imagery too. We get a really interesting mix when we have that in there. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. So for our last featured poet, we have Donna Spector with us. And Donna Spector is also a newer poet that's joining us recently. Donna Spector's play Golden Ladder, Women Playwrights Best Plays of 2002, Smith and Krause, was produced off-Broadway, as was her first play, Another Paradise. Her 18 full-length plays have appeared regionally and in Canada, Ireland, Scotland, and Greece. Member of Dramatists Guild, Poets and Writers, Manhattan Oracles, and International Center for Women Playwrights, she received 2 National Endowment for the Humanities grants to study theater and Ovid in Greece, and production grants from the Geraldine Dodge Foundation and New York Council for the Arts. She won a Crosstown Repertories Sunwall Comedy Prize, the Eileen Heckart Drama Award, and the Palm Springs National Short Play Fest. Her plays, scenes, monologues, stories, and poems have been published in many anthologies and literary magazines, and her poetry book, The Woman Who Married Herself, published in 2010 by Evening Street Press, was a Sinclair Poetry Prize finalist. All right, Donna, it's great to have you with us. And let me find you. This seems to be more challenging tonight for some reason. I know I saw you earlier. There you are. Okay. I'm going to give you the spotlight right now.
Okay.
It won't let me right now. There we go. All right.
Okay.
Welcome.
I should move over into the middle. Okay, so I'm going to read some poems from my first book, The Woman Who Married Herself. Writing like Shakespeare. Just write like Shakespeare, my father once told me, a bit of advice that paralyzed me for years. But now, alone in my study this leafy May morning, as my cats watch me, as though I am someone who might have met Shakespeare, traded witty lines with him in a noisy London pub, I see my father smiling sadly. He's in his study, his huge desk littered with notes for a novel, a play, a poem he may or may not write. He waits for Shakespeare to emerge from Harvard classics that crowd his walls. No one arrives but minor poets, bit players, just maids, waiters, a porter who pisses on the floor. Finally, a messenger comes to say Shakespeare has been delayed. He's busy entertaining courtiers, rich noblemen, a queen, and later a king. He'd like to see my father, knows those notes my father writes might be important, but Rosalind is lost in the forest, Lear in the fog. He's got problems of his own, keeps seeing ghosts, has to stop Hamlet from dying before his time, force Malvolio into those yellow socks, Antony into Cleo's arms, Juliet into her tomb. These things take time, Shakespeare says, and he's sure my father will understand. My father was a writer, in case you didn't get that. So this is a poem about one of my teachers. John Berryman used to sway or lean into a corner when he read Yeats and Cummings. He still suffered from malaria, he said, but he could dissect our dreams like a surgeon looking for the heart of the matter, which was always sex. I was just 18 and easily offended. When he took me to the Steppenwolf, our student bar, I tried to argue lust into some other universe, but I was pretty and silly in my fake Oxford accent, and he said, "Be quiet." And studying my poems as though they were worth his attention. Remove all articles and conjunctions. I remember a line, "Where the fires fall." Blue fires, he said, you understand? I didn't, but I loved him. Memorized haiku in Japanese for him, Dante in Italian. On New Year's Eve, I drank wine with him in his tiny Berkeley apartment. He gave me a handwritten Henry poem and asked me for a dream. I can't, I said, holding my inner life away. All I need is a word, he said, just one word. And this is called After the Play. After the play, someone always asks how much of what I wrote is real, though sometimes they say true, and I say some or none or all, knowing they mean, was that my life up there under the lights? Yes, all that I've imagined is, of course, my life, but no more real than rain falling on my hand as I wave to Teddy, leaning out her window on McDougal Street, alive with lights and laughter, or the hot scent of Mamoun's falafel, and no more true than yesterday's news, wet and dirty under our feet. The actors emerge tired and happy from creating lives, 2 hours of reality, of truth, for us and them, each night, before we lose ourselves in smoke and wine at Minetta Tavern. Music so loud we become mimes, abandoning language, as in the end we must. And how much time do I have? Can I do 2 or just 1?
You can do 2.
Okay.
If they're shorter ones, right?
All right. I used to have hair down to my ass, wild anarchistic hair that flared, bristled like frayed antenna wires in spite of my careful ironing. In those days, men in 3-piece suits fell madly in love with me. Hello, they'd say, are you a witch with that hair? Yes, I'd sigh, knowing I'd have to dance on their breast pockets in high-heeled boots, a black rose clenched in my teeth. Melt their glasses, murmur free love as I unbuttoned their Republican vests. And most exhausting, I'd have to love them. Soon they'd suggest I let them cut my hair. To frame your face, they'd say. They'd offer me babies, ranch-style houses with bedrooms on the first floor, a tour package to romance. I always married them, although I kept my hair. Now, alone with my cats and my eccentricities, I have cut it in the mirror. As I dance with soft shoes on my hard pine floors, short spirals frazzle away from my face. And this is the poem from the title of the book. The woman who married herself had waited years for her bridegroom. She sent engraved invitations, sewed her own gown from parachute silk, picked roses crimson as birth blood, a church reaching right up to God. The wedding waltz, a bustle of old satin bridesmaids. Her veil trailed down the aisle like saltwater tracings abandoned on sand. The woman gave herself to herself, held her gold ring heavy in her right hand, slid it down the chosen finger on her left. She turned to face her friends. I take it all now. My sickness and health, my better, my worse, both here and beyond our idea of death. You are, the priest said, one. The crowd standing round echoed his as she cut her own cake, crowned with a porcelain bride, drove away in a streamered car to her honeymoon house by a sea, opened boxes of china so fine she could hold a plate to the light and see her own life beyond.
Incredible, Donna. Thank you so much. glad that you found us here. Awesome. And so far, this night has just been so inspiring. I'm sure everyone's coming away feeling the energy of that. And so those were our featured poets, but we still have more poets that signed up for the open read, and we're excited for them. But first, we want to go back to Josie Bello. We're going to hear one song from her. And I just want to, if you're here for the open read, if you could do me a big favor and just write in the chat, that will help me so much. I just want to organize it really well before we get started with that. But without further ado, let's go back to Josie. I'm excited to hear more of that. And Josie, I'm going to give you the spotlight right now. And you just have to unmute, Josie. And not, yeah. Okay, we're good. Yeah, all set.
Many times before I've been on this road. First time was in a backseat crib. Daddy driving his Ford, shiny black steel on spotless wheels. Nothing to obstruct my view if I could only see from that back bench seat. First time they brought me home. On this road I was a teen at the wheel of his Oldsmobile. He was yelling at me. His pride and joy, his youngest boy, pretending to be a man, with 2 tons of steel, street legal weapon in my hand. I tried and did the best I could to be the man he thought I should at every twist and turn in the road. The road that led me back home to rest my beat up bones beside him in this place of grass and stone. When I became the age that I could leave this place to find the me that was inside, I learned about myself from strangers, some devious, some were kind. I miss so much of what I needed from the family I left behind. I tried and did the best I could to be the man he thought I should at every twist and turn in the road. The road that led me back home to rest my beat up bones beside him in this place of grass and stone. As I looked on from the other side, I felt the sadness in my sister's eyes, as my brother carried the little box that held me in ash and rock. At the grave where my daddy lay, I saw the light of day for the last time. And for the last time, they brought me home. I tried and did the best I could to be the man he thought I should at every twist and turn in the road. The road that led me back home to rest my beat up bones beside him in this place of grass and stone. And for the last time, I was home.
Josie, your voice is incredible. Absolutely
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to put Josie's website and her info in the chat again, just in case you missed it in the very beginning. And of course, we will have her with us again later in the program. But for right now, we're going to do our open read. This gets a little messy how this works, so I'm going to do my best. I think a few people may not be here, but I don't want to leave them out. So if you are here, what I'm going to have you do is just turn your mic on when I call your name. And if you talk for a second, just say hello. It'll pop up for me and I can find you easily. I don't want to be going through each person individually. All right, so thank you for that in advance. Okay, so our first reader tonight was actually our 2019 Long Island Poet of the Year, J.R. Turek. So good to have you with us, Judy. And now I need to find you, so 1 second.
I'm waving.
I saw you. And then, okay, one spotlight video, there we go.
There
Okay.
we go. Okay, thank you. Thank you all the readers. This was fabulous. So I'm reading a brand new poem. Rescued in the nick of time. We didn't realize we needed rescuing. The avalanche of political ads, signs, commercials, burying us in trash talk and name calling, but we learned to step away from the vortex to save ourselves. And let's not ignore our lockdown, pandemic, not so normal life, but we're surviving. We're overburdened with obligations, feel like time is moving in high speed, an escalator beneath our feet going up and down, but never forward. But we managed to stuff all we can into 24 hours. We were too busy to realize we were missing something, a chunk of something waiting for us to wake from our sleep-filled wakefulness. Finally, we got it. Got him. 8 weeks, 3 pounds of puppy love, rubber belly, curiosity streaming, puppy breath gleaming, waiting for us, waiting for a name. And now, 11 pounds, our munchkin, our future growing like his Clydesdale feet. Snickers, a big brother lonely, no more. How could we not realize our empty lives, lives empty without his loving kisses? Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Judy. Oh, so adorable. That was very uplifting, which everyone needs right now. Beautiful. All right. So our next open reader will be Marsha M. Nelson. And I did see you, Marsha, so I know you are here. You could just unmute for a moment and say hello. I can find you. Marsha.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, well, wonderful. I'm going to give you the spotlight right now.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay, let me undo the video.
Yeah, the video. Yeah,
Okay.
won't let me.
There I am. Okay, I'm gonna read a poem which I dedicated to my brother-in-law. His name is Michael Brown. Okay, the desert sun left a crack in his armor. He holds the weight on his shoulders, a world broken at the seams, drugs sown in the fields, jails filled with Black bodies, devastated families, and apathy spills like blood in the city streets. Brothers stretched on the hoods of cop cars, a common ritual. Busted heads, bullets in the sides of the guilty and the innocent alike. And communities flooded with crack. Now, the seeds have proliferated, breached their borders. Crack gives way to meth and heroin. 3 years of life for 1 ounce of crack. Now police administers Narcan to bring the suburban dead back. Hopelessness is a drug that courses through this soldier's veins. PTSD, chronic fatigue and pain. So he sows his own fields of dreams. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Marsha. Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. All right. So next up we have, we have Anjikita Deka. I believe I'm saying that right. And I'm not sure that they're here. Anjikita. Give me a second. Okay, and then if you are here, you can always write to me and I'll put you in later. But so then we have Emily Sue Sloane up next. Emily was with us last time as well.
I'm here.
And I saw you, there you are. Okay, that was the best, easiest one yet. Welcome.
Okay, thanks to all the readers tonight. It was great. I'm going to read a new poem called The Dying Light. Deeper and deeper into October, sunrise lags. More time for the leaves to choose their true colors before they shed the green hues of youth. Chilly night air gradually falls into frost's orbit, and the leaves curl their edges. Still, they cling to branches that birthed and cradled them through the warming days of summer. They catch the whispers on the wind, telling them soon it will be time to let go.
Okay, now my music. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
good to have you with us again.
It's good to be here.
So much, and a new poem. Amazing. Okay, so next up we have Doreen Spungin, and I know you are here, so let's find each other. Okay, I see you, Doreen. Perfect.
Thank you, Caitlin. And this has been marvelous. Thank you to all the readers. Music is wonderful. The words are great. I'm going to read a poem it's an older poem. It first appeared in Gail Teller's anthology, Toward Forgiveness. It now appears in my very first book, Tomorrow Smells Invisible. Hooray. And it's called Hair. Today, a gentle breeze combs my hair. Remember how those knots challenged your hands, hands that never meant to hurt, but I would cry out as the comb dragged its way through my waist-length curls, and I doubted your love, could not see through the pain. A child's ignorance is lifted, but it takes almost a lifetime. We pull the combs through heads of hair we swear we'd never harm. Our children serve as teachers as we finally learn our parents' love, in spite of pain, the loving kind it takes so long to comprehend and to forgive. Thanks.
Wonderful. So great to hear from you too, Doreen.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we have 2 more readings and then we'll have our music. Again, just such an inspiring event always. Just, I love the way these come together. So that's 2 more. Amazing. So next up we have Don Billings. Don, again, I know you're here. I'm going to find you.
I'm here.
There you are. Okay, perfect. All set.
This is called Silent Visitor, a comment on our times. It was the holiday time when families gathered, a time of joy. In far-off Asia, a virus was spreading with speech and a cough. Holiday time, families traveling, moving all around the globe. From China to Italy, Spain to America moved the visitor. As families reunited, silently moved the visitor with a smile. When a doctor sent out the alarm, he was silenced, punished. Then the deaths were reported, just a few here and there. Someone said, "It will pass, it will be gone, like a miracle." Silently moved the visitor with open speech and a cough. The death toll climbed all over the world as he made his visit. Then the hospitals needed masks, gowns, ventilators. Someone said, "Everyone can get tested. We have the most tests." As it turned out, it wasn't tests. We had the most deaths. Bodies kept refrigerated in huge trucks by hospitals. Mass graves dug in Manhattan and all around the world. The doctors said, "No gathering in groups, stay home. Wear a mask when out, wash your hands often." People stopped flying, borders were closed to travelers. Someone said, "It's not our fault, I closed the flights from China." Silently came the visitor from Spain and Italy, New York. Someone said, "I want the churches filled at Easter. It'll be gone when the warm weather comes." "Stay at home," was the cry. "Sequester, wash your hands." Businesses closed, bars, restaurants, factories, churches closed. Restaurants kept going with takeout, with curbside pickup. In the markets, sanitizer, toilet paper, food items disappeared. Masks were required in supermarkets, spacing at the checkouts. Unemployment, the government sent out checks in the millions, made loans to the airlines, big business, and farmers. Someone said, "The governors will handle it." Silently moved the visitors. Onward to the meatpacking plants. Someone said, "The packing plants must stay open." Hundreds infected and more, with open speech and a cough. Hospitals said, "We need tests, masks, gowns, swabs, reagents." By phone and text we learned people we know have the virus. People we know on ventilators, some have died. Governors opened the beaches, churches, crowds with no masks. As they defy wearing masks, the visitor moves with laughter. With his deadly visit now well over 100,000, perhaps you wonder, one day you'll meet the silent visitor. A comment on our times. Of course, when I wrote this, there were only 100,000 that had died.
Very powerful, Don. Thank you. And I'm glad that you found us and were able to join us tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then for our last reader, I know it's sad to get to our last one, but we do have more music from Josie, so don't forget, we have some more to go. We have Scott Maness, and I know you're here, Scott, so again, find you. There you are, and I'm gonna give you the spotlight right now, and you're unmuted. Perfect. Thanks, Scott.
Hi. I didn't know I was going to be able to read, so I'm a little nervous. And I do have voice issues, so please bear with me. This is called A Long Goodbye. He's sitting in a padded chair at the foot of her hospital bed. A nurse comes in and offers him a pillow to rest his head. He thanks her as she fluffs it up and tucks it in behind. He looks up and smiles at her and says, "You are too kind." He lays back with eyes closed. His mind begins to drift. As visions flash from memory's cache, like lines of a playwright's script. The scene is of a lecture hall. balancing in his chair, staring off across the room at her auburn flowing hair. Their gazes come together awkwardly once in a while. She quickly turns away again, but with a sheepish smile. That's his first fond memory, the first of many more. The dates that made them fall in love, the woman he adores. The memories keep flowing as he lingers in that room. Next he sees his loving bride as he becomes her groom. Then he sees her giving birth, their newborn on her chest. 3 more times that scene plays out. Oh, how they were blessed. All the firsts come flooding back. First steps, first days of school. Each lost tooth collected was cherished like a jewel. In recent years, gradually, her memory had failed. The life that they had built together was suddenly derailed. All the plans that they had made to spend their golden years were shattered when a diagnosis turned their smiles to tears. As the dreadful curse progressed, her memories did fade. It wasn't long till she'd forgot the life that they had made. Though he became a stranger more and more each day, he did his best to comfort her as her mind was in decay. The nurse comes in and nudges him. He wakes up with a start. "I'm sorry, sir," she says to him. "It's time. You must depart." He walks up to her bedside and gives a heavy sigh, grabs her hand and leans in close and kisses her goodbye. Though her mind has been erased, he's faithful to the last. The vow he made so long ago, he'll keep until she's passed.
Wow, Scott, so powerful. I would never know you were nervous. You did an awesome job, and you didn't know you were reading, so that makes it even better. So, excellent way to close out our poets. Thank you so much. And so powerful, everyone. I mean, really, such a beautiful night. It always is, but it's, growing more and more so as we sort of get our end of things together and we're able to bring more poets together each time. So I'd love it if everyone could unmute for a moment so we can give a big, well-deserved round of applause for all of our poets and, of course, for Josie Bello as well. Thank you so much to all of our poets. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And so much fun. We want to plan more of these in the future. If you're not following us yet on Facebook, or you're on our email list, or you just want to connect with us in any way, you can always email me. I'm going to put my email in the chat once again, so we can all stay connected until our next open mic, or if you want to join us for our other upcoming events, that's always amazing too. And I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween too. I forgot that in the beginning, but it's, it's nice to sort of note the time and the day. We do have these videos on YouTube later. We'll have this one up next week. Strange to be talking about when it's on YouTube, but it's, admiring the fourth wall there a little bit. But so thank you so much to all of our poets. Great to have you. We hope to have you back with us again very soon. And of course, we're going to go back to Josie Bello. We're going to hear your beautiful voice again. Let me find you. There you are. All right. Thank you, Josie. Awesome job.
Thank you for having me. And I really enjoyed the poetry. It was very moving, a lot of it. You guys are really amazing with words. I do have 2 CDs out, and I can be heard anywhere music is played, like Spotify or Amazon or any of those places. You can catch me live every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock with Linda Sussman, who is also here somewhere. And that's on Facebook, on Linda Sussman's Facebook page. Hey, Linda.
Hi,
And
nice to be here, Josie, and everyone. Hi, Caitlin.
So good to have you too. You were with us last time. We had a wonderful time. And then Josie, we connected with you through Linda. So small, wonderful world. All right, Josie, give me back to you.
And that's it. Okay. It's nice to see Linda here tonight. And Valerie, another fellow singer-songwriter. When I bleed human. Don't tell you nothing about the color of my skin. When I bleed human. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. When I love forever. Don't tell you nothing about the gender I'm in. When I love forever.
Thank you, Mary.
Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. When I'm in pain, it pains my family. Don't tell you nothing about my family tree. When I'm in pain, it pains my family. Only tells you the condition I'm in. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. We only look at the outside. Nothing of value on the outside. You gotta look at the inside. So for my last song, I need a prop. This is my witch's hat, and this is my Halloween song. It's called Witchy Witchy Woo. It's Halloween, I own the day and night, working all year to get it right. eye of newt, apple rind. I make lotions and potions to blow your mind. Ring my doorbell on Halloween. The treats are sweet, but my tricks are mean. Halloween, baby, it's my bag. It's the one day a year I'm a happy old hag. Little pet rat, fluffy orange cat, a bin full of spiders, a closet full of bats. Ring my doorbell on Halloween. The treats are sweet, my tricks are mean. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm coming after you. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo. I'm a witch, I'm coming after you. Ring my doorbell on Halloween. The treats are sweet, my tricks are mean. I'm badass and cruel, I hang with goblins and ghouls. You'd be mistaken to take me for a fool. I'm a girl with a broom, I can fly around the room. Turn day into night, cast a spell on you. Ring my doorbell on Halloween. The treats are sweet, my tricks are mean. Gonna fly my broom right over your land. Put a tricked out Tootsie Roll in your hand. When you go to bed, I will be in your head. Gonna make your life something you dread. 'Cause I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm coming after you. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm coming after you. Ring my doorbell on Halloween. The treats are sweet, but my tricks are mean. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo. I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witchy witchy woo.
All right, Josie, that was already phenomenal. All of your music tonight. But then on top of it, the icing on the cake, really. That song, perfect for the holiday coming up. So thank you so much. I want everyone to come back for a moment. And another big round of applause for Josie. Amazing.
Oh, thank you guys. I really enjoyed listening to you all. It was really a display of the power of words. And it's so meaningful to me, a songwriter who really appreciates good expression. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Josie, so much. I mean, the timing too, to have that song ready for this. I mean, wow. We have a lot of Kismet experiences here, you'll notice. So, and bringing everyone together like this, we love it. So many more open mics for sure. And we hope that you'll all join us again. Again, those links are there. I'm going to send you some follow-up ones. Thank you for being part of the Whitman family again for this week. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
And happy Halloween.
Great.